My next patron question is from Trevon, who wanted to know if I think posthumous movie performances would be received as well if the actor was still alive. When an actor passes away, there is an element of sadness at seeing them for the last time that might play a role in people viewing them differently. After all, we're not going to see these people again, so seeing them in the last film is almost like saying goodbye. I tried to remember if a posthumous performance from an actor who maybe is not so revered was ever slammed, and I struggled to think of any. And I think a major reason for that is, if said actor died from a disease or another type of illness, that creates an added context for why their performance is like that. An example of a notable posthumous performance in a poorly reviewed movie is Raul Julia in Street Fighter. Julia had already been diagnosed with stomach cancer when he signed on to the film, choosing to do so because his children loved the video games. Knowing that shows how dedicated Julia was, as he still gave it his all and played up how silly the character of M. Bison is. That's why people finally remember him in Street Fighter, even though the film as a whole is not widely praised. While he's still around, knowing about Bruce Willis's dementia diagnosis creates an added understanding and context for why he appeared in small roles in a bunch of low-budget movies, as he apparently was trying to make as much money as possible to keep his family financially stable before his condition forced him into complete retirement. People went from being confused at Willis being in these movies, with some even mocking him, to having complete sympathy and understanding for him. Trevon mentioned Heath Ledger's performance in The Dark Knight, and there are people who've speculated whether his Best Supporting Actor Oscar was a sympathy vote. I personally don't think so. This was such an attention-grabbing performance that I feel he would have been the frontrunner regardless. Who was even in second place that year? I guess Josh Brolin in Milk, although Philip Seymour Hoffman in Doubt is also a possibility. Robert Downey Jr. would have certainly been an inspiring choice for Tropic Thunder. However, even before his passing, Heath Ledger was seen as an actor with a promising and exciting career ahead, and was incredibly respected by his co-stars and acting peers. The Dark Knight was also his second nomination, and he was probably bound to win an Oscar at some point. Several people predicted Chadwick Boseman would win a posthumous Oscar for his performance in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, which was a reasonable prediction, as he'd won the Screen Actors Guild Award. I myself predicted he would win, and apparently so did the Oscar producers, as they made the baffling choice to have Best Actor presented last, thinking the show would end with a heartfelt and emotional speech from his widow. He did not win, but not because his performance was not genuinely beloved. A lot of people just also loved Anthony Hopkins' performance in The Father, and it happened to get more votes, and Boseman was very likely in second place. What may or may not surprise you is if you look through the Academy's history, they have not given many posthumous Oscars. There have been 16 competitive Oscars given to people who've passed away, and 2 of those were composers for the film Limelight, which only became eligible 20 years after its release. The first time someone even won a posthumous Oscar was at the 12th Academy Awards, when screenwriter Sidney Howard won for Gone with the Wind. And interesting enough, not many people have received posthumous Oscar nominations for acting. Jean Eagles is the only actress to have gone nominated after her death, while James Dean, Ralph Richardson, and Spencer Tracy among the 7 male actors with posthumous nominations. Aside from Ledger, Peter Finch is the only other actor to win a posthumous Oscar for his role in Network. So despite the belief that a beloved and respected actor passing away gives them a sentimental advantage for the Oscar, that's actually not the case. I think when seeing an actor give that final role, especially if the film is released after that passing, it's hard not to have a certain sentimental feeling. Robin Williams' last few posthumous releases did not exactly get the most positive endorsements, but people still commented how it was nice to see him one last time. This was notably the case with the third Night in the Museum movie in his final scene interacting with Ben Stiller. It's difficult to watch that scene and not interpret it as Williams giving the audience one last bit of joy, because that's the thing to remember when an actor whose work we admire passes away. They may not be around anymore to play new roles, but the ones they played in their lifetime will still be here for us to come back to and entertain us. Thank you for your question, Trevon.